Hey y'all already know who it is. It's me, Denise, back at it again with another video you guys should already know because I am the baddest bitch, and that is of the Pierce Mamas. In today's video is going to be a story time about the time that I almost got jumped by my friends. So this story takes place about a couple years ago, like a long time ago, and I was friends with these guys. We're gonna call these guys D, T, and R. The first person I met when I moved to Mississippi was D. D was really cool. He was like a couple houses down from me. Let me tell y'all the dynamic of my friend group, okay? So at the time, it was D, who was the hood nigga. You had R, that was the light-skinned boy that act kind of white, but he was still black. Then you had T, who was the church-going ass nigga. But me and D, we kind of became really close because my first name was D, and his first name was D, and it was both a D-E. Mine was D-E-M, his was D-E-Q. So, well, y'all still don't know what I'm talking about, so it don't matter. Me and D used to go to R's house all the time and play basketball because he was the only one on the street who had a basketball goal at the time. Because nobody else wanted to play with us, really, to be honest. Like, again, at this time, I was around, like, I was 13, 14, I think I was 13, 14. I really can't remember. Or maybe I was around, like, I think I was, like, 10 or 11. I think I was, like, 10 or 11 or some shit like that. I do not remember. But I do know I was pretty young, and I was in the 6th grade. I had ended up meeting T, or Messi, like I said, I think I'm gonna leave his name as Messi. I ended up meeting Messi through D and fucking R. So D and R introduced me to Messi, and I was like, oh, okay, you know, he's cool, you know, he's a church boy that goes to church and reads his Bible. That's the type of dude he was, like, literally, bitch. And girl, let me tell you, I ain't gonna tell you, but it's another story about him coming very soon. So just keep him in mind, bitch. So girl, let me tell you. Now, basically, what had happened was my sister's very attractive, and all the boys want her. Like, they really did. They really wanted her, but she's like got a boyfriend and stuff now. But that's irrelevant. So D ended up catching feelings for my sister, and notice at that time me and D both were like 15, 16. I do not remember how old I was, bitch. I have no idea. I think because I was in like the 7th grade. I don't know. But we was around like the ages of 13 to 15. So just keep 13 to 15 in mind because I don't really remember. So me and D were around the same age. My sister at that time was 18. Me and D were the same age. He was like actually a year older than me. So if I was 14, he was 15. If I was 15, he was 16. So long story short, he ended up telling my sister that he was lying about his age, and my sister's very pissed off about that. And you know me, like, that's my sister. Like, bitch, I don't want my friends talking to my fucking sister. That's fucking weird, first of all. And then not only that, we would go to school and I would see him talking to this one girl. Her name was Asia. Very pretty, thick girl. Very pretty. And I'm like, so you talking to Asia and you trying to talk to my fucking sister? Oh, no, honey, we're not doing that. So that really was pissing me off. And I wanted to tell Asia so bad, but that's not my place. I'm not a messy ass bitch. So Messy's part didn't come around until a couple months later. Now, at this time, we all started kind of having like these little issues, these little moments where we would start kind of like not feeling each other. Like things were just happening amongst each other and it just really wasn't working out. So one time I let D come to my house and I let him play the game in my house. Because, you know, all the boys used to come to my house and we all play the game together. And just, you know, be playing like Naruto, Mortal Kombat, wrestling, Black Ops, all that shit. I really had some guy friends then, or so I thought. I had lent D one of my controllers because I had the Xbox 360 at the time. Like, it had just came out a little bit, like a couple years ago. It was before Xbox One times. And, you know, I was the only one in that neighborhood that actually had like an Xbox 360. Other folks had one, but I think they like had an old, outdated one, or it was like his older brothers or something like that. So D came to my house. We was playing the game or whatever, right? And then he was like, hey, can I borrow one of your controllers? I was like, sure. So then, bitch, I let him borrow one of my controllers, right? And girl, like a couple weeks passed, I kept asking him like, hey, you know, where's my controller at? You know, I let you borrow it for that one day. Like, you know, I need my controller back. And he was like, oh, you know, I'm going to give it back to you. I'm going to give it back to you. I'm like, okay, well, when? He was like, well, I'm going to give it back to you. I'm going to give it back to you. And I was like, okay, well, then I'll wait. At that time, I was very nice, very patient, very sweet, very kind. Now I'm not like that. If I give you something, bitch, I expect it back the same day. If not, the next minute. So Yeah, I'm not that comfortable no more. You cannot allow bitches to get comfortable because they're going to start expecting and start assuming. And that's a problem. More months passed. Now I'm pissed. Now I'm angry. And then, we would go to school. And, of course, like, I was the oddball. I was the only boy at the time with a light voice, a really high voice. Like the voice I have now, but a little bit higher. While my other friends had really deep voices. They dressed real masculine. Pants sagging, had all the little girls around them. But every time I would come around, they would act like they didn't want to be around me. They would, like, section me off. Like, they would be in a group over here. I would be sitting somewhere by myself. Then I would want to sit with them at lunch, and they'll all like be looking at me like, what the fuck? Like, why are you sitting over here? So then, like, I'll just get up and move. I remember one time somebody said, nah, somebody sitting right here. I don't know who it was. It wasn't one of them, but it was somebody else. They said, nah, D and T and R sitting right here. You can't sit right here. And I said, okay. So I just got my tray, and I'm finna get a little sad. That hurt my feelings. But, like, it still hurts a little bit. But anyway, we ain't gonna get into all that. So I got my tray and I walked and I sat by myself. And, I was getting bullied really, 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 really bad at that time. And I expected my friends to pull through. But DT and R never pulled through. They would see folks talking shit about me, making fun of me, cracking jokes. All that shit. And I don't mean cracking jokes like being funny. Cracking jokes being malicious. And, you know what I'm talking about. So, when nobody said nothing, folks be mimicking my voice like, hey girl, hey girl, hey girl. Because that's what they used to say to me all the time. Like, all the dudes like, hey girl, what you doing today, girl? And I'm like, the fuck? And then they would see that and not say anything. Strike one was the bag, okay? Strike two. That was them treating me the way they did at school. During this time, I stopped being as close to D as I was when I first moved down there in R because they were very fake. So I started gravitating more towards Messi. And me and Messi, we was cool or whatever. Like, I would go to his house and I would play the game with him and shit like that. We would have a good time. And then he started becoming a fucking weirdo too. Because, like, one time I let him spend the night at my house. And this man was talking about some, I like your sister. Give your sister my number. Blah, 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 right? Mind you, after the whole thing with D, you really think I'm about to let you get down on my sister? Nigga, get the fuck out of here. This girl is in the fucking 11th grade. We are in the 6th and the 7th. We are out of her league, okay? Well, you are specifically. So, let me tell y'all what happened. Now, at this time, me and T had went to this church sermon or whatever because everybody was trying to get me to go to church with them. Oh my gosh, the gay boy, take him to church to pray his gay away. That was everybody's thing back then. I'm like, y'all are fucking weirdos. But yeah, that's what everybody wanted to do. That was the neighborhood's biggest thing dealing with me, was praying my fucking gay away. And nothing ever fucking happened. Bitch, I'm still the way I am, bitch. I'm trans as fuck now. A bad bitch. And some other stuff has popped off, but I'm not gonna tell y'all yet. I'm not gonna say nothing because I got that story time coming soon. I went to church with T. It was like playing hide and go seek in the dark, right? And then, like, folks would be grabbing on each other, squeezing folks' butts and shit like that, grabbing folks' dicks and everything. Like, it would be weird. Mind you, we're doing all of this in a fucking church. Literally. We get in the car to go home. Tell me why T sits in my lap and arches his back. The fuck? That's suspicious. That's weird. Because what the hell are you doing? So then after that, keep that in mind. Save that for another time. Now, moving on. Now, I stopped being so cool with D and T. With D and R. And I started being more cool with T, like I said. Now, after we had came back from the church thing or whatever, I got severely sick the next day with the flu. I was sick with the fucking flu. And that was that. So, at that time, T had moved away, and T was like, oh, he wanted to spend the night at my house because his family dropped him off at our neighborhood and just drove off, quotation marks. I don't think that's what happened. Some other shit probably happened. He probably walked down there for some dumbass reason. I don't know what the fuck happened, but that's what happened, I think. While he was spending the night at my house, right, my sister had came to me and told me that he had went with my mom and my sister to go get some groceries or whatever the case may be, and he gonna ask her can he go out with her? And she was like, no. Because, like, what part of you're younger than her do you... I'm sorry, y'all. My head is itching. What part of you're younger than her... sorry. Hold on. What part of we are younger than her do you not understand? Like, she's not gonna go out with you. You are too young for her. So, blase, 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 blase. Now we get into the real shit. Now, T came over my house, right? And T was telling me, like, out of nowhere, I don't know where this came from, but T was telling me that D was talking about how, oh, he want to fight me and he don't like me because of this and that, and I'm gay this and gay that and faggot this and faggot that. And he's talking about some messy. T, okay, if I say T, y'all, I'm talking about messy, okay? If I say messy, I am talking about T. So please, please follow the camera. Okay, so T was telling me how D and R was talking shit about me, how they said, oh, they don't like me, like I'm this and I'm that and I'm junky and blah, 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 whatever, right, girl? Just telling me all this shit that D and R probably fucking said, but I shouldn't have been paying attention to, because if they wanted to say that, they would have said that. Like when Nene said, if I wanted to say that, I would have wrote it, period. So I'm over here listening to what this old raggedy ass nigga gotta say. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm talking shit back. I'm telling T, oh, you know, D, what did I say? I let D borrow my controller, and he junky as fuck because he didn't give my controller back, and I had to give him this, that, this, and that, and he had no food, and blah, 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 blah. And I went to his house, and his feet smelled like corn chips. Like, bitch, I'm really going in about D to T. And T is just, you know, they're just sipping the tea, eating it all up, laughing. Like, shit really funny. Bitch, so then, girl, let me tell you. So after that happens, right, now, all of a sudden, T goes back to D and tells D what I said. So then all of a sudden I start noticing, y'all, if y'all see a sweat stain, I'm sorry, it's a little hot in my room. But I mean, it's real. I don't know if it's a sweat stain or what, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't make a difference, girl. Everybody sweats. I have on deodorant. It's not that big of a deal. Who gives a shit? So if you really paying attention that hard to my fucking video, something's wrong with you, bitch. So anyway, now D, I started noticing how D started acting funny towards me. Like, he started, like, you know, not wanting to talk to me, you know, saying, like, you know, he would just be like, yeah, okay, yeah, this and yeah, that. Like, being real, you know, sassy and shit, getting smart, having little attitudes and shit. I'm like, bitch, I know your controller back stealing ass ain't having no fucking attitude with me when I let you have my shit. Like, girl, bitch, you owe me a whole fucking new controller and a bag. Girl, and controllers was not cheap at that time. I don't think so. Bitch, they probably was. I don't fucking know. They're like $20, I think. I cannot remember, but I really don't care either. So, that's because that's not important. Now, after that happened, right, now I started noticing in school that D and T would be hanging out together all the time. I'm like, okay, that's fucking weird. Like, how the fuck you hanging out with me after you just got done laughing and a kiki with me about me talking shit about D to you? Fucking weird. A couple weeks pass, and T comes back to my house, and T's telling me shit that, ooh, y'all, I almost said a name, holy shit, that R was saying about me. R was calling me a faggot this, a junkie that, saying, you know, I'm broke as fuck, I ain't got no style, blah, 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 you know, I'm gay as fuck, that's why I don't know bitches want me, da, 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 all that shit. I'm like, really, bitch? I wasn't caring about that, because I had a crush on D anyway. I had a crush on D and R, to be honest, and I really wanted to fuck around with both of them, but I ended up fucking around with the neighbor's son. Ooh. Long story. R started acting funny towards me, and I didn't know why R was acting funny towards me. So then that's like, you know, T came to my house telling me, oh, you know, that's about a girl. Why I say his name again? So then I'm like to T, I'm like, oh, that's what he said. I'm like, okay, so then this, that, this, and that, and that, and this, and this, and that, and that, and that, and that, and you know, all of that shit, So that's what I'm saying, like, oh, yeah, bitch, and I said this, and I said that, and I did this, and I did that. You know, I'm real mad, real hot, real heated. I'm like, bitch, you supposed to be my fucking friend, and you over here talking about me like that? What the hell? So that's how it all started. It started from T telling me that they were talking about me, which I'm sure they were. But if they're talking about me, and you're sitting there listening to them talk about me and not saying anything, like, I wonder what the hell you're doing. Because if you're sitting there letting them talk about me, there's no way that you're not talking about me either. There's no way that you're not talking about me either. There's no way possible that you're just sitting there listening to them talk shit about me. You're not having your input. So then, girl, after I said all I said about R, T was like, yeah, that's true, because that nigga this and that nigga this and that. Like, that nigga, he a real junkie. Like, I let that nigga borrow this and that and this and that, and he never gave me my shit back. He junkie as fuck. I'm like, I know, right? Blah, 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 blah. So then, girl, we get to school. Shit start being real funny. Like, folks start acting funny. Like, and I mean them two in particular. Then T would, like, walk up to me and be like, what's up? And I'm like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, nothing. Then he wouldn't look at me. And that's why I knew in my head, like, I didn't know then, but I know now, like, you was up to some shit, because that was fucking weird. Now, a couple weeks passed, and T came to my house again. Now, T came to my house telling me how, oh, D said that my little sister should have died from cancer, and my mama, he said something about my mama has some type of something dealing with her hair falling out or something like that. My mom has alopecia, but y'all never see her, so it doesn't really matter. But mama has alopecia because she got her hair done in the past by these Africans, and they snatched her fucking follicle. They fucked her shit up. So she has alopecia, traction alopecia. So when I heard your little sister and my mom, oh bitch, all bets was off. I said everything in the book. I said that his mom was ugly. I said that his brother was this and that. Some shit about his brother, I forgot what I said about his brother. I said something else about his other two brothers. And I said that his mama broke as fuck. And I said some other shit, some very disrespectful things that I wish I could apologize for, because I really hate what I said, but I don't feel sorry for what I said, because y'all more than likely was talking shit about me too. But then again, the whole cancer thing, why would you bring my sister into it or my mom? That has nothing to do with them. You get what I'm saying? So that kind of didn't make sense. That was very far-fetched. So when T said that to me, again, like I said, I got very upset, and I went the fuck in, and I went off, and I was talking shit about both of them. But I said some very hurtful things. Very hurtful things. I said, I want to be black so bad. That dude's not even black, which he really was black. Like, he was mixed, but still. And I said he want to fit in. Like, that dude is not, he ain't got, it was just a lot. I can't remember verbatim what I said, but I said some very offensive things about both of them and their families. So I called it, that's what I said. I said, and now, girl, oh my, that's what I said. I said that D be swapping underwear with his brothers, and his mom and his dad are a crackhead. That's what the fuck I said. That is what I said. Y'all, I cannot believe I said that. Like, that's what I told T. I said that they be sharing underwear with the same doodle stains in the drawers. Bitch, oh my God! That is what I said for real. Okay. So that's what I said. And I said that his mom was a crackhead and his dad was, and I said, R's mom was also a heroin addict and some other shit. I don't know these things about these people. I don't know nothing about them. I don't know nothing about their personal life. I don't know these things. But that's just what I said. Basically, y'all, after I told him that, right, I had said, and you can go back and tell them what I said. I already knew that he was going back telling what the fuck I was saying. I gave him permission to be messy. And his dumb ass went back and told them what the fuck I said. So that's how I knew that he was the one going back telling them what the fuck I said. So, y'all, T goes back and tells R and D what I said. When I tell you that walk to school was so quiet. It was like the most event building walk to school I've ever had in my fucking life. Like, it's like impending doom. I was walking to school with my older sister, my two older sisters and my little sister. We all was going to the same school at that time. So we always, well, no, we wasn't. It was just me and my two older sisters. We was walking together. So it was just really quiet. Like, the neighborhood was quiet. Everybody was quiet. D came out the house. He looking at me, frowned up. Then the little brother, he staring at me, got his fist bottom. He over there, tears coming down his eyes and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? So then, girl, after that happened, right, bitch, I get to school. The day is going on. I'm having fun, kikiing with my fucking friends and shit. Girl, we get to lunch. Now, do y'all remember the table that I said that they was like, you can't see her because DT and R sitting right here? That entire table turned and looked at me, and it was just, all kids do that shit. Like, what the fuck is that supposed to do? Is it supposed to scare me? This other dude, he's irrelevant, but he was just staring at me, frowned up, watching me walk in. So I'm staring at him, and he's talking about something. Don't look at me. I said, I'm not. Bitch, the fuck? You're staring at me. How the fuck I'm looking at you and you staring at me? That makes no fucking sense. How the fuck am I looking at you? You staring at me. So I'm gonna, if you're gonna stare at me, I'm gonna look back at you. So you stared at me, I looked at you. The hell? So that really pissed me off. Bitch, don't say something, don't look at you. Bitch, I'm not trying to look at you, hoe. You stared up in my motherfucking face, bitch. So after that happened, right, girl, that entire table was just staring at me. Then I get my tray, I come back to my seat, they all staring at me and shit. One of them trying to stick their leg out and trip me. So then, like, you know, I still over their foot, and I turned and I looked, and he gonna look up at me, say something, I dare you, say something, say something, say something. And I looked and I said, boy, and I laughed and turned around, like, bitch, shut the fuck up, pussy asshole. So, girl, I'm walking to my table and I'm sitting down, right? My table, well, the table that I sat at with this girl named Betty Jean, that's my best friend, that's my boo thing, my sister girl. So I was sitting at a table with her, and you know, I would be sitting facing this way. Now, facing this way, all the athletes, oh, that's what it was. That table was where all the athletes sat at. So all the athletes, y'all hear how I enunciate athletes? Anyway, all the athletes, they sat at that table across from me. So I'm sitting here facing the athletes table. All the football team is staring at me, frowned up, they mad. So then I'm looking and I see T, Messi, leaning over, talking to the dude that said, "Don't look at me," whispering some shit in his ear. And then they both sit up there just staring at me, frowned up and shit. I'm like, okay. So then, girl, let me tell you. Now, after school, not so much after school, but so much more of during class change, going to the 8th period. Y'all wanna know who came up to me and told me something? The same messy ass bitch from before. So T comes up and tells me,
"Oh, you know, D and R talking about something, they want to fight you after school."
When I said, for what? I'm like, what for? They're like, what they want to fight me for? I don't understand. Like, what's the point? Why are they trying to fight me? Like, I didn't do nothing to them. Like, why are they trying to fight me, bitch? Whole time I know what I did, but I don't know what I said, but, you know, whatever. So I'm like, what they want to fight me for? Like, I didn't do nothing to them. Like, what are they trying to fight me for? And T was like, well, they just want to fight you. They want to fight you. They want to fight you. I'm like, okay, and you said, and I think you're going to end up getting chunked. I'm like, what? That's what he said. I'm like, okay, why? Like, bitch, is the problem between me, D, and R, and you. So, who are these extra-ass individuals trying to get some clout, attention, some brownie points for being down-ass niggas with their friends? Like, what the hell? And I'm saying clout, like, that's something to be proud of. But, you get the point, bitch. So, I get into 8th period. Everybody in there is talking about how, oh, you know, D want to fight you, R want to fight you, this and that want to fight you, they want to fight you. They say how they gonna jump you, XYZ, blah, 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 this, that, this, and that. And I'm just like, what the hell? So then, girl, bitch, let me tell you, 8th period, I'm shook. Okay, so, and y'all want to know what T said after he told me that? T gonna say some, oh, you know, I'm not gonna let you get jumped, I'm not gonna let you get jumped. And I'm like, okay, like, it's gonna be a fair one-on-one. First of all, bitch, what do you mean a fair one-on-one? Bitch, whose side are you on? Clearly his own messy ass. Bitch, when I tell you I am shook to my core, I am shook. Bitch, I had a big ass mouth, but I didn't have no hands. Now I can back up what I talk about, but then, no. So, bitch, I'm over there. I'm scared as fuck. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm texting my mama. Blank and Blank said they gonna jump me after school. I guess you didn't get my text because at school, you know, the Wi-Fi's gonna be fucking up your damn reception and shit. And I had cricket at the time, girl. Ugh. So, but I'm with Metro PCS. That's no better. School's ending, and I come out of my classroom. Y'all want to know? T, D, R, the boy that said, "Don't look at me," and the other dude that tried to trip me, all of them met me outside my classroom. So I come outside, I'm looking at them like, what the fuck are y'all, like, what are y'all bothering me for? Like, that's not what I said, but that's what I'm thinking, like, what the fuck do y'all want? D said,
"Oh, so you was talking about my mama?"
And I was like, what? He was like, so you was talking about my mama, and you said this, that, this, and that? And I was like, no. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, that's cool. He's like, I'm gonna catch you outside. And R just sitting over there, silent as a fucking mouse, ain't got nothing to say, but want to co-sign, want to be part of it. Like, boy, you was never about shit to begin with. Like, what the hell? How you want to be part of the nigga shit, but you ain't even about that shit? Like, what the fuck? So, girl, let me tell you. Now, I'm sorry, y'all. I just love my hair. It's long as fuck. It's 26 inches, bitch. Get with the program, sister girl. Touches my ass. When the bell rang for us to get dismissed, bitch, when I tell you, I fucking ran. I ran down them fucking stairs. We had 2 flights of stairs in that school. It was in middle school. I ran down that first flight, jumped down to the bottom, ran down the second flight, jumped down to the bottom. No, what happened was I think somebody pushed me down the stairs. I cannot remember what the fuck happened. Something happened where somebody pushed me down the stairs. Of course, everybody, yeah. Then the generic me, binder in hand. Gotta pick my shit and put it back in my binder. Funny. And then it was funny because Betty Jean, she came up and said, y'all stop bullying him. Leave him alone at that time. Leave him alone. Stop bullying him. Leave him alone. They're like, that's your little boyfriend. It's your little boyfriend. It's your little boyfriend. Like, shut your ass up. Blah, blah, blah. You know, all that shit saying that to her. And, you know, she just kind of was, you know, not timid, but she kind of just didn't like confrontation either. So she kind of just shut up and like help me pick my stuff up. That was so generic. But anyway, I run to the office, bitch, and I get on the phone, and I'm telling her, Mama, D and R talking about something, they want to fight me after school, and they said they was going to jump me. Mama was like, what the fuck? I was like, yeah. So that's when all of a sudden, bitch, I happened to turn and I look. Girl, you won't believe who the hell is standing outside that fucking office. It is DR, the boy from lunch, the boy that tried to trip me. It was T, it was another guy and another guy. And then after that, bitch, I ducked down behind the fucking desk. Because I told the lady at the front desk, I told her, I was like, these dudes are trying to jump me. She's like, who? I was like, these boys out there. And I told her their names or whatever, right? Bitch, really snitch shit. But I was a bitch at that time. I'm so glad that I'm not a bitch anymore. I mean, well, I am. But I'm the baddest one. Get it right. So, anyway. I'm like this, talk to my mama. Yeah, mama, they said they was gonna jump me, and they said they was gonna do this, they was gonna do that, they was gonna shoot me, and they was gonna do a drive-by. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, all of this for me saying that? It must have been true. So, y'all, bitch, my mama came and got me. She picked me up. She picked up my older sister and my little sister. On the drive home, it was about a good 9 guys. It was DR, T, both his brothers, his little brother, this other boy, these other 2 dudes, this dude named KJ, and they was all grouped to fucking together. And they was looking, like they was walking slow, looking around. The other one, his brother's name started with an R. R had his shirt off. R was sexy as hell. Oh my God, he was so fucking fine. I would have took an ass whooping from him, definitely. Cause bitch, when he took his shirt off, you see his abs, and he was dark skinned, pretty teeth, girl, waves. Oh, he was so fucking sexy. Oh my God. But that's not... Mind you, I'm crouching under the seat. I'm like, they ass turn and look at the car. Girl, real fucking quick. Bitch, you not gonna get me? Then I hear them say, where he at? Where he at? Where he at? I don't see him. Where he at? Where he at? Where he at? Then somebody say, there go his mama car. There go his mama car right there. So that's when all of a sudden, bitch, I ducked down again. Everybody turned to look. They all stopped. Then my older sister, she turned and she looked. Then my mom, she turned and she looked. Everybody turned and looking like they all just staring. Bitch, I'm hiding. Like, a bitch is not gonna catch me. A bitch is not about to catch me. So, girl, we pulling up on our street. Girl, everybody standing up in the street and shit. D and R already made it to the street. They turn around staring at the car. They staring at me. They walking like they staring at me, staring me down in the back seat, looking in the car and shit like they about to do something. Like, but I mean, y'all know I'm just bullshitting. But they was staring up in the car and shit like they was really finna jack my fucking ass up, bitch. They wanted to beat my ass. But all because of this messy ass wannabe church going ass nigga. So, bitch, let me tell you. Long story short, we ended up having to have a neighborhood meeting. It was me, R, D, T. No, it was me, R, and D, and me, and my mom, and R's mom, and D's mom. So we all like met up, talked about the situation or whatever, and then that was the end of that for a second. Then, like, one time I was playing basketball at R's house, and R was like, you can trust, him, past tense, at the time. You can trust, like, he's cool, we got all this stuff out the way. Because I remember I was playing basketball, and it was like, when I tell y'all, that was like literally the saddest 3 days of my life. Not talking to my friends. Well, my acquaintances. So they would just be looking at me, and I'd be looking at them, and they would be wanting to play with me, and I'd be wanting to play with them and play basketball. But we would just be looking at each other and just, not saying nothing. I walk to school. I see him come out. I see D come out his house. He'll turn to look at me real quick and look away. And then I look at him and look away. It was just really sad. Like, it was really sad. So that happened. And I think I'm going to end it right here because the video is pretty long. So y'all stay tuned for part 2 because part 2 is going to be when shit really hit the fan. Like, really, really, really hit the fan. This story is not over with yet. And then I'm going to also have a part 3. So, I thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Well, this one in particular, this part. And guys, stay tuned, like I said. And I'll be back at it again with another video. You guys should already know because I am the baddest bitch. And that is of the... Periods, Miss Mama. That was terrible.